Well, welcome everyone. We are very excited to have Robbie Melton with us here today. She has brought lots of tools, gadgets, and toys to share with us, and we'll go through those shortly, but let's get started first with Robbie sharing a little bit about who you are and your background and how you got to be where you are today.
Oh, life is good, everyone. My name is Robbie Melton. I'm the Associate Vice Chancellor for Mobilization and Emerging Technology with the Tennessee Board of Regents. I'm also your first appologist, something that I coined because I study the impact of mobile devices, apps, and as you see, all of these devices, and I have curated over 50,000 mobile apps from pre-K to PhD, over 100 different program areas, because we are all mobile. And I'm sure you too have a mobile device. And
Absolutely.
What is that mobile device?
I'm a Droid family person. So we have one that looks just like what you have on the table.
Again, as you see, we have all sorts of tools, whether it's Apple, Android, Windows, or things that you didn't know of, like watches, wearable technology, earrings, jewelry, and if I had on my gym shoes, I would have on my tech gym shoes and my tech clothes.
So the amount of things that you've done is just amazing. I mean, it's hard to imagine anyone being able to do as much as you have. And clearly you have a lot of technology. How do you balance it all?
Well, you have to remember the core and my passion. All of these are tools to help students to learn. My background is special education. I have 11 full certifications to help children to learn. So with technology now, with all of your assistive technology coming out, you have tools that can just set learning on fire and to really help enhance the curriculum and programs. So on behalf of the Tennessee Board of Regents, my job is to boldly go where no educator has gone before, and that is behind the scenes of all of your technology to see what things are really good and what things are just gadgets or junk. You have to understand that with your cell phone, yes, your phone, and with all of these tools, you can also save lives. All of these devices operate with accessories like eye health, where you can take your blood pressure online. You can also, even with your Google glasses, say, "Okay, glass, translate," and whatever I'm looking at instantly will translate into Spanish, into another language. You have to understand these tools will enhance what we're doing. I mean, it's almost amazing of the possibilities.
So clearly you're an expert with tools.
Yes.
I mean,
an expert in terms of whatever it is today, it will change, and I have to be ready for that change to see what new features will enhance learning.
So how do faculty, I mean, they obviously have you as a great resource, and
Yes.
you do a lot for them, but how do you help them with actually deciding that this is a great tool and move them into the implementation stage?
Here is my strategy. All I do is say, "Let me see your cell phone." 99% of faculty members have cell phone. And with that phone, it's really a teaching and learning tool. But right now, they're just thinking it's a phone or where they can play Candy Crush. When I can share with them the amazing things that they can do with their current phone, I don't care if it's a bag phone with an antenna. As long as it can hook to the internet, I can bring content, teaching activities, support services to the point that they didn't know. So I take them from where they are, from their phone, and then move up with professional development and training.
Wow. I mean, I can only imagine the resources you can bring to them. I mean, do you have favorite sort of resources?
Oh, yes. Hot dog. Number one, on behalf of Merlot, you have all of the Merlot content, and you're talking about thousands of learning objects that you can bring down on your smartphone or your tablet free. And most people aren't aware. You mean I can really bring down lesson plans, PowerPoints, learning objects. How about online courses on your smartphone? And that resource is already there and designed for mobile devices. But again, we have curated over 50,000 mobile apps. And oh my gosh, you're talking about some apps. How about some of the latest apps coming out where you can take your smartphone and you can hold it over your food that you're eating, and it will share with you the calorie content.
That's kind of scary.
Well, we hope that one is in beta because we don't want it to be truthful anyway. Well, how about you have a phone whereby if you have a live plant, you can hold it over that plant and it can share with you information. Again, these tools are so powerful, but again, unless we as educators embrace this, knowing that all of our students have them, even our babies, that we can then shape how our students will interact with these tools versus saying no mobile devices in the classroom.
We were talking yesterday with Jerry. He came by and we had an interview, and he was talking about the mobile aspect that you've worked so hard to put together with him that's open and free for people to use, which is fantastic. I mean, are there certain places that you think that people should go to look for information there to get started, or certain resources you think are worth the second look?
Yes. Let me share with you our process. I receive apps from all over the world, whether it's from developers or designers, companies, or whatever. And one app like Sign, the number 4 me, Sign for Me, allows you to either type or talk, and you can hold your mobile device right next to you, and it will sign what you're saying.
Oh, wow.
Now, again, to me, that's a miracle. It's like oh my gosh. And again, one more time, here's the app, and I can speak, and as I'm speaking, it will sign out what I'm saying. Again, when we find apps of that source, we do what we call the first level screening. On behalf of the Tennessee Board of Regents and the faculty and staff, we have teams, discipline teams, that will scan to make sure it's appropriate, that it's truthful, and it works. At that point, we start to test out those apps, and then we send those apps over to Merlot for what we call a national peer review. And Jerry and his staff, and on behalf of our community reviewers, will review it, rank it, and then put it in the Merlot collection. So again, we take care of the first level of screening. That's why we have 50,000 or so. And then Merlot is more selective because they have the full rubrics and standards review. We also have to check for ADA. Whatever we do, we have to make it accessible for all students and all ages. So again, we have an app center that is open to the public and open to the world, whereby you select how you want to use apps, then you select your device of choice, and you go and pick up your subject area and press a button, and a pool of apps will come up to match those variables.
Now, is that through Merlot?
No, that's through the Tennessee Board of Regents. And then from that app center, when we find what we call dynamic game changers app, like The Element, like Sign for Me, we then send those particular apps over to Merlot for a more strict review of the content. So that's www.T as in Tom, B as in boy, R as in Roy, tbrmobile.org. And it's open to the public. So you can always go there and find apps in your area and on your device.
But I could just see so many great uses, like for the sign language one,
Oh,
for
yes.
students learning to do sign language, or students needing that translation piece. Because one of the things we found is that you need more than one signing
yes.
person for breaks and pieces, and that could potentially be helpful. So, I mean, it sounds like they just continue to make so many more tools that could really be helpful in that learning process.
Yes, and here's the other part of our strategic plan. When we look at an app, again, we check it to make sure it's meeting the educational needs. But if not, we get to call the company and say, hello, on behalf of education, we would like for you to consider A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And I am pleased to share with you 99% of the companies are open to the suggestions and will make the noted modification. So again, we're like a test center for mobile devices, for mobile apps. And again, when you look at, we're the 5th largest system of higher ed in the nation, and we have this type of power to help shape all of this mobilization here. And as you see, my machines are just going on. Oh my gosh. Then it brings a wealth of resources to the entire community. What I have here that I have in my hand is a new piece of technology called Leap Motion. This, as you see, and here's the little cord, and it's this small. You just plug it into a Mac or a PC, and you're able to use your hands to operate your computer. In other words, you can play the piano, you can operate and navigate your desktop, laptop in the air. Another piece of technology that we're testing out, going beyond Leap Motion, is called iTribe. Now watch my eyes. With iTribe, you can sit there and operate your computer, your tablet with your eye movement. Now, again, for those students with disabilities, that is a miracle. But it's just using your eyes. With your Google Glass, oh my gosh, the possibilities are endless. You're able to conduct surgery. Firefighters are using this. And even if you think a little computer over your eye, not on your eye, over your eye, you can stream what you're seeing to any device. Again, as an educator, this is like Pee-wee's Playhouse. Oh my gosh. Because then we try to align it with the Common Core, our strategic plans to see how it can help. But there's another component that you didn't ask me yet. Workforce development. Our whole workforce is mobile. You can go to McDonald's and now they have an iPad and you punch and you order. You can go to the hospitals. Your nurses, your doctors are using tablets. Again, so we have to make sure we in higher education prepare our student for the mobile workforce of tomorrow.
Absolutely, because I mean that's the big piece is the push is, are people prepared for the careers that they want to achieve?
Yes.
And so technology is definitely integrated into everything. I mean, how can you even work at McDonald's if you can't use technology today?
And that's true, which brings in now policies, procedures, the research. That's where Sloan-C comes in. On behalf of serving on that board, in which you now have that quality control, standards, rubrics to help shape all of these tools coming out. Without someone providing that type of research, that type of quality, then we don't know if these things are tools or toys. So again, being with the Merlot group, we take not just technology, but blended learning online, and we really want to shape it where we are able to look at the effectiveness of it, to make it available for people all over the world. So again, even though I might be on the little gadget side of all of these, it all blends in together with Merlot, Sloan, and other organizations like the United States Learning and Distance Ed Association, WCET, and many more that's trying to make sure we use technology in the right way.
So you have a session during the conference talking about technology. What can people expect when they come and see you at that particular session?
Well, the sad thing about it, it's over. We just
missed it already.
Yes, you missed the session. But again, the way Sloan-C and Merlot have designed this conference, you have what we call the unconference. So as you see and walking around, we have opportunities where people can get together and sit, and we give them a workshop right there. One person, it could be 15. But that's how we design it. So even though the presentation is over, you're able to come and say, hey, what's in that bag? Like you heard a couple of people say, hey, there's Robbie.
You have quite the following. Everyone hounded around and was taking pictures, and you're quite the celebrity with all of your tools.
Because to know me is to know that I have something new. So if you see me tomorrow, You can say,
The
Robbie,
newest tools, yeah.
what's new? And I will have some new technology for you.
And I hear you have a new 3D, is it iPad?
Oh, here it is.
Tablet?
This is as of yesterday. And as you see, I can't even pronounce the name of the company. Maybe you can. All we know is NEO 3DO. This is your first 3D tablet without glasses. Oh my gosh.
Which would be a huge change.
Oh, yes. And think about teaching and learning. A lot of people look at all of this and say, oh, these are gadgets and whatever. No. My job is to look at the features for teaching and learning. So if I'm talking about an alligator, wouldn't it be nice if you could hold out your little finger for a minute?
My finger?
Uh-huh.
Sure.
And all of a sudden that alligator can jump out of this tablet and try to virtually bite you or whatever, or maybe you want to feed a bird.
Right.
Again, I have with me devices and accessories, whether you want to smell your tablet, and in the future you'll be able to touch different objects in terms of sensory. They'll turn hot, cold, or hard or soft. And yes, you ready for this? You'll be able to eat your tablet. Okay, you have taste coming. I know.
Wow.
I know. Yes, life is good.
Well, they always talk about that on the Food Network, your smell-o-vision and taste-o-vision, so.
And here it is. You'll be able to do it all with your smartphone. But again, if you take another step and look at your smartphone as being a medical tool that they're currently using in Africa right now to diagnose eye diseases. If you just think, oh, you hear all my phones going off at the same time. If you think about, you can take your device and hold it over your heart, and it'll pick up your heart rate. We also have the technology coming. Well, it will help diagnose diseases or whatever. So again, all of these things are amazing if we have educators that shape it.
Right, well, in Massachusetts, they're having a lot of medical services that you can do through Skype or through controlled, more private methods, and that's definitely where healthcare is leading for faster. And I mean, it does sound from the outset great to be able to use those tools, because when you're sick, do you really want to trudge all the way into the doctor's office if you can do it from home?
And with your new Samsung 5, when you touch your device...
You don't have one of those yet, do you?
Oh, it's probably at home waiting on me, because you have your Samsung 4, you have your iPhone 5 right now that can do pick up your heartbeat and all of that good stuff. And, of course, you have your Windows phones here. So, again, we are a BYOD, bring your own device, whether it's a device that you know, a ring, a watch, earrings. We just want to be proactive to help our students to use what they have as a teaching and learning tool.
So how can faculty balance all this? I mean, you clearly sort of spend a lot more time than, say, the traditional faculty member on these tools. How do they know which ones to use and which ones to implement? And how do you deal with, if you have an HP computer and I have a Mac, how do we synchronize what we're using?
Okay, now let me just speak on behalf of the Tennessee Board of Regents. What we do, we have a two-way communication. As a faculty member, if you see something on the phone or on TV, such as, here's your Surface Pro, and you go, wow, I heard that the Surface Pro can do whatever. On behalf of our board, we will send you the Surface Pro for you to test out, to see, can it do what you want it to do? So before our campuses invest millions and millions of dollars into these devices, we want them to try before you buy. So on behalf of our chancellor, we purchase a sampling of all of these devices to give to faculty members, staff, to test out before they purchase. And then at that point, we have trainers, we have people in the discipline that will say, okay, if you would like to use this as a biology tool, let me share with you how. We also have our IT department to check out to make sure it's safe, privacy, and that it's going to interact with our network. And then we have constant feedback. And most importantly, we have to make sure that these are ADA compliant. The Kindle Fire Generation 1 and 2 did not meet all of the requirements. So again, we were able to work with that company, send in information, but the bottom line, we're not going to use it if it does not. So again, our process is with faculty members, if you see it, you want to try it, we'll buy it. Or if I know of some apps or some devices like Leap Motion that I think that can help a student, then we can call on those departments like the disability committees. Or we can have students where I can say, let's test this out to see if it works. So again, we have mobile campuses like Walter State Community College, which is a totally mobile campus, which means they're using mobile devices strategically versus everyone having one. So you have to have a plan. The faculty member has to submit a one-page to say, how can these devices help me in the classroom? And then that person is given a device. And then we go back and track and monitor. And I'm here to share with you. I have data, everyone. Educators, we have data to share the significance and the effectiveness of mobilization.
So where do they get that data?
All right. On behalf of the system, we collect it. But if you go to Walter State Community College website, that's www.ws.edu, they have all of that posted. But every year we have a mobilization summit in which we bring people in from Abilene Christian, Penn State, all over, that we sit and share information. So again, I hope with this interview people understand, beyond Candy Crush, please look at that mobile device as one of the most effective and amazing teaching and learning tools.
I think that we found that people are very interested
Yes.
in using them, and they just don't always know where to get started. So it sounds like for your process, you go through a pretty lengthy
Yes.
testing before it gets to the faculty. Then the faculty say that they want to use it, so it clearly had to have passed your standards
Yes.
first. Then they can test it and try and plan, and then implement.
Yes, and we support them, even with a small stipend, sometimes release time with training, mentoring, and we want them to use it for scholarships. So we're working with many of the campuses to help count this as a scholarship activity for tenure and promotion.
So you've really built in, when you think about the Sloan-C 5 pillars, you've
Yes.
built in a lot, from student satisfaction to faculty satisfaction to learner effectiveness to access and really even scale in terms of taking your computer with you. But I mean, it's amazing, even when faculty don't make things mobile, you see students on their phones and they're just going and listening and doing all these things, whatever they can turn
Yes.
into something mobile, they're more likely to use.
Yes, because remember, people are walking, talking, sleeping, mating with their mobile devices. Why can't they learn from it?
Absolutely. I mean, I think that that's really great. How long does it take from an implementation time frame when I say that I want to do that? Because I think the other piece is that faculty are like, well, I just thought that I wanted to use it, and it just failed next week.
Yes.
And there's a learning curve. How long do you think that is?
Here's the learning curve. Let's say you see this new device right here.
Mm-hmm.
You call in, you complete a one-page online form, and basically want to know what it is you want to do with it and how will you measure it, and what will be the student outcomes. At that point, they have to sign up for training. So it's not like, here you go, have a good time. No, you have to go through training so you learn how to turn on the device and all of the features, and then we let you go. And we don't bother you. We just say in 6 weeks we're going to send you a form for feedback. At the end of the semester, we would like to come into your classroom and actually take a short video of what it can or cannot do. And again, I'm here to share with you, we have saved our system millions of dollars because things that people thought they wanted or thought it can do, maybe at that point it's not ready. So instead of investing millions of dollars, we've saved a lot of money. And I'm here to share on behalf of the iPad. That has been one device that faculty members just taken to in terms of ease of use. Again, it's not to say that the Samsung and the Windows aren't, but to pull it out of the box without direction and go for it, life is good.
Well, I mean, it is. I mean, people want that ease of
Yes.
getting started in use, but I really like how you form sort of a structured process to having to learn how to use the tool before you implement it, and then they know that there's follow-up so they can
Yes.
show whether it was effective or not effective. Because I feel like without those processes, it's easy to just become another piece of technology.
Yes, and again, when they identify an app to say, "Oh, I want an app," we have a process whereby we will send them the code as long as they understand. They have to give us feedback. They have to demonstrate. So again, you have faculty members who are out there saying, "I want the latest and greatest." Then you have some that say, "I don't want it at all." But just remember the variable. I'm sure the one that's saying, "I don't want this technology," has a phone. And that's what we go after, because that is technology in itself.
Right. What's a good place to start if it's something that you're using all
Yes.
the time? Because clearly you're comfortable with technology.
Yes.
And so it is helping them because there's such a wide spectrum of how much people know or how comfortable they are, and really trying to start with where they are.
Right. And even this microphone we're holding, I can take my mobile device, and I have a little microphone, and we could have used my smartphone versus the microphone. And you see that wonderful camera? Oh, yes. I can turn my device into a camera. You see all of those lovely computers and the productivity? I have apps to do all of that. You see that Starbucks coffee? I bet you I can heat that up and give you some virtual coffee.
Wow. Robbie,
There's an app
you
for
really
that.
are amazing.
Well, thank you.
It has been great talking with you.
You too.
I can't wait to come and see some of the unconference stuff that you're doing since I missed your
Oh, yes.
session. I'm thinking that one was recorded as a virtual session.
Yes,
though.
it was.
So people have a year to go back and see all the...
A year. They should. Don't wait a year. Wait a couple of days and go, and what's new? And we try to highlight
Because
that.
everything changes
Yes.
so fast.
Yes, and remember, everything's amazing. And as educators, we are going to be happy. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Robbie.
Thank you.